So Naruto's 20th anniversary just passed, and to be clear, not the 20th anniversary of the series as a whole, but the 20th anniversary for the way most people watched and enjoyed the series for the first time, and still to this day. Like me, I did start with the Naruto anime. I'm a relatively new fan to the franchise. I didn't get into watching Naruto until around 2019 or something like that, before I was just a big Dragon Ball goon. But I mean, I shouldn't have to say it, but Naruto has obviously done a lot for me, especially within the past year. And then even some before that. I've met a lot of people just because this series exists in the first place. People like the person I have on this video, Spencer. We met exclusively because of Naruto. First time I messaged you was because of Naruto, right? He had some stupid like argument about Sakura soloing Dragon Ball Z a long time ago. That was like 3 years ago though at this point.
We gotta pin that video up in the description.
But yeah, that was like 3 years ago at this point. But I just wanted to talk about Naruto because it's his 20th anniversary, and because, you know, everybody loves it. And even if you don't love it, can you deny that Naruto has like a massive impact on the world as a whole?
Absolutely not.
You literally just can't. If you want to say anything else before we get started with the rest of the video.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk, like, I don't know, as a kid, I found Naruto when I was like 12 years old, right? It was my first interaction with anime ever. I woke up on a Saturday morning, me and my brother are like eating cereal or whatever, my older brother. And he's like, dude, you have to come see this. And he pulls me into the living room, and I probably have one of the most epic entrances in Naruto ever, because I'm just watching Kakashi versus Zabuza, and I'm absolutely mesmerized. I know nothing about what's going on, and it's still just like this beautiful, wholesome moment, and I love it. And I mean, Naruto's done a lot for me as a kid with like ADHD and mental illness, which is like what Naruto's all about. It really taught me in like my younger years, like, it's okay to be different, and that difference is like a lot of your strength. I don't know, I get kind of emotional actually talking about like what Naruto's done for me, and I don't want this video to be like too heavy, but like Naruto's done a lot for a lot of people, and so the anime as a whole just has a huge place in my heart, dude.
Yeah, I mean, okay, my introduction to Naruto, obviously since I started in 2019, was a lot different than even a lot of the people who are watching this video right now. Is way different from Spencer's, because he was watching it almost around, it's like airing on Cartoon Network at this point, right? Toonami or something like that?
It's airing in the mornings, and then it goes to Toonami. I got to like grow up as Naruto grew up.
The first time,
is a very different perspective from you.
The first time I watched Naruto was Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki. That was the first time I saw anything to do with Naruto as a whole. But like you, I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea who Naruto was. The only thing I remembered, like after I watched Boruto, I asked my friend, because he's the one to show it. I asked my friend what that was from. He said that was from Boruto, but if you're gonna watch that, you need to watch Naruto first. The only thing I remember recognizing from whenever I watched the Boruto clip was Gaara, because he used sand. So I was watching like the whole 5 Kage versus Momoshiki thing in general. But yeah, that was my first introduction to Naruto. But I mean, for the people who've been watching since episode 1, and then like obviously we've all seen episode 1, how do you think the series stands, or that episode stands, the introduction to Naruto 20 years after it first aired?
I mean, what's really crazy is they kind of knew that they needed a breakout episode at the beginning, because a lot of anime will change like their first episode in comparison to their like manga pilot. And Naruto's first episode, like, not only is it outstanding on its own, right? Like, don't touch my sensei, or whatever he says, and he's like fighting Mizuki.
Yeah.
But we got to see like how much of an outcast Naruto was in the village, and we really set up that like Naruto is alone. Naruto has no one. He just has himself.
And his
And I think,
aspirations.
yeah, he just it's a boy in his dream. And I mean, bruh, like, what else could you ask for in episode 1? That shit, I still cry watching Naruto episode 1. I don't know about you. Maybe I'm just like, maybe I'm too deep in
I
it.
mean, I've never cried watching Naruto myself, but so when it comes to episode 1, I think that it sets the story up really well because you got to take into account with episode 1s and chapter 1s of manga and anime. Chapter 1 of a manga is typically way longer than any of the rest of the chapters. Like normally a manga chapter is around 15 to 20 pages or something like that. But then they'll always have the first chapter be around like 50 to 60.
50 to 60, yeah.
So Naruto's first chapter and first episode are virtually the same. And then, it's kind of like they really took chapter 1 and then put it on screen. That's something I really appreciate because being a Dragon Ball fan, I didn't get that. We just quite literally didn't get that. Like,
Just hopped in.
yeah, you hop in and then it's almost completely different, especially when you get to the Dragon Ball Z part. But that's for a complete another video. I don't want to talk too much about Dragon Ball Z on the video about Naruto's anniversary. But then, obviously, something that draws you into Naruto kind of very early on anyway is the combat. Like episode 1, Naruto jumps Mizuki with 1,000 shadow clones.
Yeah, literally a 1v1000.
Like that is wild. The combat system in general is wild. And then Kishimoto does a good job. This isn't the first episode, keep in mind, but this is the first arc, and it's generally agreed upon that Naruto has one of the best first arcs in anime in general with the Land of Waves. But
I mean, setting up the power system, understanding the characters, understanding the antagonists, right?
yeah,
I mean, the Land of Waves is just a masterpiece on its own. Not to mention how it fits in the broader story.
you have to keep in mind, yes, that's what I was about to mention. You have to keep in mind, Kishimoto is setting up the power system for this, and he has admitted in interviews that he didn't have everything entirely figured out at this point, which is fine. It's a 700 chapter manga, not that big of a deal. But he manages to keep a lot of the things that get introduced in that first arc and episode consistent throughout the rest of the franchise, which I thought was pretty cool. So you get introduced to Kakashi and he's fighting Zabuza. Kakashi versus Zabuza obviously is this massive, like, it's this introduction to the Jonin level fights, really. And it's kind of a risk Kishimoto took showing his strongest Jonin in the first arc or the first type of fight because I mean it's a risk, but it's also good at the same time.
It shows the immense power gap between our main character and where he wants to go. Even whenever you're looking at like Naruto training his chakra, and Kakashi's like, this is the most basic thing you will ever need to become the Hokage, and this little girl with pink hair has got it before you. And you think you can beat me? You think you can beat Hiruzen?
But then at the same time, Kakashi's like, Naruto and Sasuke have the ability to surpass me. And it's made believable because of how Kishimoto sets up Kakashi. From his fight with Zabuza and then how he analyzes Haku. Like he sees Haku and he's just like, oh yeah, well that kid, younger than you, stronger than me. And then he was right, Haku's stronger than him. So it makes it believable that Kakashi can just see Naruto and Sasuke training, failing, and still think that they can both surpass him. Just a really nice introduction to the arc. And then at the same time, you get so much insight on Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke at the same time.
Yeah.
I was talking to Seth about this a little while ago, but there's an earlier chapter, I think it's around chapter 4, or maybe it's a little bit later than that. It's definitely within the first 10 chapters. And if I find the page, I'll definitely have my editor show it on screen, but Kakashi literally says the narrative of Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke in the first 10 chapters, and it's extremely accurate. I can't remember exactly what it says at the top of my head right now, but it'll be on screen for you to see anyway. And then you got I think on the cover of chapter 3, Sasuke's with the snake, Naruto's with the frog, Sakura's with the slug, before
Yeah.
any of the Sannin get introduced
Or even mentioned. Like the first
or even
mention
mentioned. Yeah.
the first mention we get of the Sannin is like during the Chunin exams, right?
Yeah, because that's when Orochimaru comes in.
Not to mention just like the first Zabuza Haku fight gives us so much insight into who they are as people, because Naruto blindly throws himself into danger, not for the sake of the mission, but just because that's who he is. Sasuke, right? Even though he says he has to survive in order to like defeat Itachi or get his vengeance, is willing to sacrifice himself for the people he loves. He doesn't even know why he's doing it. He just knows that he has this like compulsion to help, which is like deep down who Sasuke really is, right? And not a lot of people get that. And then you have Sakura, who, even though she talks this big game, is like paralyzed in fear, but also understands that she can do something deep down. She just has to push herself harder than she's ever thought, which is like, I think that's its own narrative, right? This super genius who really is ineffectual because of her inability to act. But that's just me Sakura gooning. I don't know.
No, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. But I think we talked about the first episode and the first arc enough. What's your favorite fight in Naruto of all time?
Favorite fight?
Favorite fight.
That's tough. Cause you know I'm like a narrative guy. I like the emotions behind the fight.
But I think every Naruto fight sort of has that narrative aspect to
issue.
it. But like even something like Hanzo versus Mifune has some narrative behind it. It's kind of stuck in there, like in the middle of nowhere.
In every other manga, that would be a throwaway fight.
Yeah, but it's made cool. Like it's memorable to some degree.
I think while it's not played up, Gaara versus his dad is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Gaara versus Rasa is nice. As a Gaara fan, I also like Gaara versus Deidara because it shows us how Gaara has changed and become like this amazing person.
You know,
if I have to wrap it all together in a bow, like let's say every aspect of the fight has to be judged. I can't ignore anything. Oh gosh.
You know what I'm gonna say.
What are you gonna say?
I'm gonna give the most basic answer of all time. No, I want you to finish first, then I'll say what I have to say.
Gosh, Naruto and Sasuke versus Momo's really up there. I'm gonna give it to Obito versus Kakashi though.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. Like, Obito versus Kakashi, especially we're talking about the anime. Obito versus Kakashi was everything to me when I watched Naruto. Like,
there's really something about the way that Kishimoto decides to take the fight through the ages.
Yes, bro. Like, it's so well done. Like, throughout Naruto, there's a bunch of good fights, like we mentioned, but there's specific fights, and you know this because they're the most talked about ones. There's specific fights that pull you in and really make you enjoy them, right? Like the first one is probably Lee versus Gaara. That's the one people reference the most. Like, oh, Lee versus Gaara was so cool. Hard work beats talent, all that. And then
every week on Twitter.
Yeah, and
every single week somebody posts that on Twitter and says, "Y'all forgetting about this?" Like whatever.
then there's like Naruto doing his Rasengan for the first time. There's Minato versus Obito. That one's also really good because when Minato's going in for the Rasengan and then like the music cuts off and then Obito's like, I win, and then the blink away, then the music cuts back on. No, yeah, like that fight is definitely another one that pulls you in while you're watching. And then Obito versus Kakashi pulls you in completely because not only are they fighting in a complete separate dimension, the fight is just about them. They're talking
Kakashi's
about
battle for Obito's soul. Dude.
Exactly. Like Kakashi's like, well, if I can't convince you, I guess I just had to kill you. Like he finally.
Like if I can't save the old Obito, maybe I can honor him by killing Madara. Like, oh
Yes,
my
bro. It is like I
gosh.
can't save old Obito, so I'll just protect the current Naruto because Naruto's supposed to parallel Obito.
Naruto's
That
the new Obito.
that fight is top tier, top tier. It'll always be my favorite fight. It's been my favorite fight since the first time I watched it 3 years ago, and it's still my favorite fight to this day. And I don't think it'll ever be surpassed. There's cool fights, right? Like there's Naruto and Sasuke in the Final Valley. That's another cool, super cool fight.
Sasuke versus Deidara.
Sasuke versus Deidara.
Danzo.
Momoshiki and versus Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto versus Ishiki. Underrated narratively, by the way, Naruto versus Ishiki. But don't want to talk too much about that. But yeah, I mean, that fight always going to be my favorite. I genuinely don't think anything that the series produces could reach that level for me again. When Kakashi died in the Pain arc, because Kakashi, Minato, and Itachi, they're my three favorite characters. I can't pick between them. When Kakashi died in the Pain arc, Spencer, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I stopped watching Naruto right then.
You just got pissed off.
I stopped watching. My friend literally had to spoil me to tell me to keep
get you
watching
back
the show.
in?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I
love
stopped
that.
watching, and that's when I watched two other anime. I think I watched Seven Deadly Sins and Death Note in that little break. But yeah, when Kakashi died, I quit watching Naruto for like a month. And then my friend, he told me Kakashi came back to life. He didn't tell me how. He was just like, you have to watch it to find out. So I trusted him, watched it, came back, and then obviously we got the peak fight that is Naruto versus not Naruto, but Kakashi versus Obito.
All right, Six. I got a question for you, bro.
Okay.
Now, there's been a lot of talk about this. Do you
Okay.
think that over time, Naruto as a series has lost its way?
No. So no, I don't think Naruto's series has lost its way at all. I think it's only progressed.
A lot of people feel as though like the narrative has been like lost upon us, right? But in my opinion, we kept the same narrative until we switched to Boruto, of course. Boruto has a different main narrative. And is a new show with a different protagonist. I feel it's fair, right? But a lot of people are like, what happened to hard work beats talent? And what a lot of people don't understand is that Naruto as a series has always been hard work beats talent. It is one of its underlying narratives, right? That's not the main one. The main one of Naruto always will be like, what makes you different is your strength.
Yeah, and changing destiny.
Yeah.
Going against that.
Like, what makes you different is your strength. What makes Naruto different is his strength. Literally, like, the power system proves this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kekkei Genkai are these people's strength.
Right. And then
a lot of times, these Kekkei Genkai, people view them as like a curse when they get them.
yeah,
Like-
and then like okay, think of like whenever Jiraiya pushed Naruto off the cliff, what did he say? He's like, okay, let's see if the Nine Tails inside you is a blessing or a curse. And then Naruto, who views the Nine Tails as a blessing, or no, he views the Nine Tails as a curse.
Yeah.
But then he does the thing that makes it a blessing. And then later on, we obviously get to see Kurama was a blessing for Naruto. Rest in peace, Kurama, by the way.
Rest in peace. Like, I don't think that, like, the very fact that Kurama's death has such weight on Naruto shows the progression of Naruto's idea of Kurama.
There's also a panel in the manga after Kurama dies, and I used to think this was just a drawing mistake on Ikimoto's part, but there's a panel where Naruto is drawn without his whiskers. And it was right after Kurama died, right after they get back to the leaf. And I think that was done very much so on purpose, because Kurama's not with him anymore.
Like, oh my gosh, the death of Kurama is like its own
Video. Yeah.
yeah, the story of Kurama, right? And how Kurama changes as a person over time is its own thing. Maybe we should do that, just like a narrative overview of Kurama. But
Yeah,
if
maybe.
you want that, leave a comment, right?
Yeah.
But Naruto's relationship with Kurama is, I think it's one of the best relationships we've seen over the course of this anime.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And I think, I guess to wrap up the video, just to touch on the Neji was right people, There's not a lot of them anymore because I think most people understand. But Naruto actively goes against destiny and changes it when he beats Sasuke in the final valley, because he stopped that cycle of Indra and Ashura.
Yeah.
That was the point Kishimoto was leading to. Naruto is special, yes, but because he's special, he can stop the course of destiny or stop what's fated to happen. A lot of the times, I like to call Hashirama the failed Naruto. He got too caught up in the ninja stuff and he killed his best friend instead of just working with him, you know. But yeah,
like Hashirama, you could argue, gets caught up in the cycle of hatred, right? He believes that the only way to end like the Uchiha's like hatred for him is to end Madara. When in reality, there were like he needed to work with Madara. There were peaceful solutions that could be drawn, but he gets caught in the same hate.
I mean, like, it's even in his speech when he kills Madara, right? He's like, I will kill anyone who threatens the village, be it my own child, friend. Like, that's not the way to think about it. And then that's why he's the failed version of Naruto. Same with Obito. There's a lot of failed versions of Naruto. And then Naruto's the one who gets it right. And then when he gets it right, the cycle of hatred ends. Which me personally, I still think Naruto should have ended right there. I don't think there should be a Boruto, even though I do like Boruto. I don't like another video.
I don't like the idea of Boruto.
Yeah,
but I like Boruto.
But I like Boruto. Yeah, but
and there's one thing else I want to say is that you talked about failed Narutos. When if you go through and read the series, almost every single villain is a failed Naruto. Every one of them is an idea or a slight departure from Naruto's ideology or Naruto's self. And so there's always an ideological battle in the series that is just, it's so good.
Yeah.
Obito, Pain, Gaara, Neji, right? These are all people that either share a piece of Naruto's ideology or share the whole, and either their execution or something is different in a way that puts Naruto at odds with him.
Yeah, and then obviously you got like Hashirama and Ashura. They're like the good guys, but they're still the wrong type of good guy. And you know, they kind of share a soul with Naruto rather than a specific ideology. But yeah, I think that's about all we have to say. It's an extremely long video. Obviously, go subscribe to Spencer. I'll leave his channel linked in the description. He's hopefully gonna start uploading again.
I do have. I think by the time this video comes out, I'll have a new video up.
Yeah, he said that before. He said that before. But if he doesn't, I don't care anyway. I wanted him on the video because of how we met. And subscribe to me as well, like the video, and have a nice day.
Algorithm?